Hello and welcome to Laws of Education. Today we will be doing another poem from the English textbook First Flight, Fire and Ice. This Fire and Ice is also written by Robert Frost. Let's read the poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Let's read it once again. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Perish means die and suffice to means be sufficient. Now, in this poem, the word fire as well as ice repeat. Now, what does the fire and ice signify in the poem? What does the poet try to tell us? What is the message he tries to convey through fire and ice? Now, here the fire signifies the desire of the human beings. Now, desire is like the fire. Now, he is comparing fire with desire. So, this desire also can destruct the world. When we desire for a lot, now, for example, when we exploit the resources hugely in huge amounts, the natural resources that are available, it will in turn, it will destroy our earth, it will destroy the world, it will destroy the nature around us. So fire signifies desire, and he is telling that the fire will actually cause end to the world. That means desire. Too much of desire will cause end to the world. Then we'll see ice. Ice signifies the cold-heartedness of people. So usually we have this idiom called cold heart. We say cold heart when someone doesn't care for anyone, someone who doesn't have any feelings, and it actually means hatred. So ice represents hatred. So even hatred is another thing which will actually lead to the destruction of the world. Now, if there is no peace between countries, if there's only hatred that is surrounding the world, it will obviously lead to the destruction. So hate is also something that can lead to destruction along with desire. So hate is something that cannot be felt and it can only be seen. So it can be seen how when countries fight, when countries have war between them, we can see hate. In this poem, the poet expresses how the world will end. Some people, there are a group of people who believe that the world will be destroyed by fire, while others argue that it will be frozen. Initially, the poet also supports those who are in favor of fire. But as the poem progresses, he remains undecided, he's confused who to support, and he's mentioning that if the world ends twice, if the world has the chance, if there's a chance that the world can end twice, ice can also bring equal destruction as fire. The poet very artistically underpins the deep philosophy that if we let our emotions rule us and if we don't control them, they will surely destroy everything around us. So when we read the poem, at the first line, the poet says, "Some say the world will end in fire." So that means there are a group of people who say, yes, it will end in fire. And the others, the second line says, some say in ice. So there's a group of people who also say it will end in ice. That means it will be frozen. Others say it will be burnt. Then after what, then the poet says, when he says like from what I have tasted of desire, so he goes with the people who support that the world will be burnt, that the world will end with fire. And then he goes in favor of the people who support fire. And then in the second stanza, he's telling that in case there is a chance the world can end twice, there are two opportunities for the world to end, then obviously one will be ice, the other will be fire, the other will be ice. I think I know of enough of hate to say that destruction of ice is also great. So that means that a world can either end in fire, world can either end in ice. So he uses fire and ice to express two things here. One is hatred and the other is desire. Also, when you look at the poem, he says at first, he says, from what I've tasted of desire. And second, he says, I think I know enough of hate. So, first, he says that desire, when there is too much of desire for people in the world, too much of needs, too much of greed, it will also end the world. And here in the second stanza, he says, I think I know enough of hate. So, when there's too much of hate between people, when there's too much of hate that is being developed in the hearts of people, that will also lead to destruction, and this destruction is also as big as how the destruction is caused by fire. So what is the theme of the poem? What is the message that is conveyed by the poet through this poem? So in this poem, the poet discusses about the destructive features of human emotions along with the destructive features of nature. Now, destructive features of nature are such fire and ice. He links it with the destructive features of human emotions. Here he makes use of natural elements such as fire and ice to show how desires and hatred contribute to making the world stand at the verge of destruction. So he's telling, he uses fire and ice to show how desires, is desire and ice is hatred, which can contribute to making the world stand at the verge of destruction. And that is the same thing that's happening in many places around the world. Too much over exploitation of resources around us and hatred between people, between countries, has led to the loss of lives of millions of people, which is actually destruction. And he has personified fire and ice. He has personified the fire and ice with human emotions. That is, he has compared fire and ice with the human emotions that are desire and hatred. So he's stating that how these factors can destroy the world. Like he actually uses natural elements that are fire and ice, and then he changes them into human emotions, that is desire and hatred, and he connects them both and he says that how these both are capable of destroying the world. So desire and hatred are human emotions that can eventually cause chaos. So this is a paradox, and the poet shows us that both extremes can have the same result. Now, a paradox is a contradiction. So the poet shows us that both the extremes can have the same result as well. It is not that either of them is lesser or greater than the other. Both will result in the same thing. Now, we look at a few poetic devices that are mentioned in this poem. First, let's see assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. So in the same line, now such as when we look at this line, I hold with those who favor fire. So here the sound O is being repeated again and again. So here it is assonance. It is assonance of the long sound of O. Then we can see alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound of F. So I hold with those who favor fire. So this is alliteration. Now imagery is used to make the readers perceiving things involving their five senses. So for example, some say, so this is say the world will end in fire. To say that for destruction ice is also great. So this is imagery. Then symbolism. Symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities. So that is by giving them symbolic meaning different from the literal meaning. So fire is like your fire symbol is symbolizes desires and ice symbolizes hatred. Then we have anaphora. Anaphora refers to the repetition of a word or expression in the first part of some verses. For example, some say the world will end in fire. Then next again we are having some say. In the poem first, in the first stanza we have some say, and again in the second stanza the word some say is being repeated. Personification. As told earlier, the poet has personified the fire and ice by giving them qualities, that is, he's comparing them with human emotions such as desire and hatred, which are capable of destruction. He has given fire and ice the capability to destroy the world. So, therefore, the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them a mind which is capable of destroying almost anything. So, also the poet tries to say another important message through the poem, which is that the relationship, any type of bonding, can be destroyed by wanting something too much and hating something too much. Now, for example, even the connection of humans with the earth is also a bonding. This bond will be destroyed if humans want too much from the earth or when they don't like the earth. Don't like the earth in the sense when they don't take care enough of the earth. So in such cases, it will lead to the destruction of the earth and will destroy the bonding. Thank you for watching our video. Please watch another video as well. Thank you and have a nice day.